Hello dear farmers, and to everyone watching this video, welcome back to my channel Farming with JNR. And if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and to turn on the notification bell for more videos. And if you have already subscribed, make sure you like the video and share the video with friends. It is all about farmers educating farmers. And today's video will be more interesting because we are going to talk about aflatoxins and how they are affecting the dairy industry as well as the food chain supply at large. Our guest today is a student at Egerton University, but I'll let him introduce himself and talk more about aflatoxins.
So thank you for inviting me at Farming with JNR. So my name is Anderson Muturi. I'm a student at Egerton University, Department of Dairy and Food Science. And the discussion that we are having today is about aflatoxins with relation to dairy farming and the food supply chain. So let's start with what are aflatoxins. So aflatoxins are mycotoxins, which are basically the secondary metabolites of fungi and have the ability to induce acute as well as chronic effects. So for acute effects, we are talking about the effects that an individual will feel immediately after being exposed to these aflatoxins, especially people who are hypersensitive to these aflatoxins. For chronic effects, we are talking about cases such as carcinogenicity, that is the ability of these aflatoxins to cause cancer, which occurs over a long period of time, as well as mutagenicity. So the mechanism by which this aflatoxin gets into our diet is through plant-based food products or through animal-based products such as milk. So the most common affected crops are the cereals. An example, in dairy farming, we have the maize germ, which is used by most farmers as an energy supplement. Soybean is another crop that is vulnerable to attack by this aflatoxin, and it is mainly used in dairy farming as a concentrate to supply protein. So in cereals, the most common form of aflatoxin, we have the aflatoxin B1 and the aflatoxin B2, which are mainly produced by species of Aspergillus flavus and Aspergillus parasiticus. So when consumed, let's give an example of maize germ that is affected by these aflatoxins. The aflatoxin that is in maize germ in form of aflatoxin B1 will be metabolized into aflatoxin M1. The same will also take place with aflatoxin B2, which will be metabolized into aflatoxin M2, which will at the end of the day be present in milk. So the challenge with these aflatoxins is that they are heat stable and resistant to cooking temperatures, and for you to be able to open their lactose ring, you'll need temperatures of about 269 degrees. Therefore, it is impossible to destroy these aflatoxins when they are present in food, since the use of such high temperatures will mean a compromisation of the integrity of food in terms of the functional properties of foods, which is the supply of nutrients, since the volatile nutrients will be lost during the heating process. So now let's talk about the effect of consumption of these aflatoxins. So one, aflatoxins have been related to liver damage. Since the consumption of these aflatoxins, they accumulate in the liver, and since the liver cannot metabolize these aflatoxins, they will lead to liver damage and in the long run lead to liver cancer. Secondly, the consumption of these aflatoxins have been linked to acute effects, like in the example of the acute hepatitis that occurred in Kenya back in 1983. So right now, we are having a good debate as a country about aflatoxins with relation to the numerous cancer cases that have been reported over the years. So various limits have been put in place to try and reduce the consumption of these aflatoxins. Like for example, in the US, where you have the Food Drug Administration has put its limit for aflatoxins at less than 0.5 parts per million in milk. In Europe, they have put their limit at not more than 0.02 parts per million. So Kenya, we are guided by these standards as well as the East African standard. So how can we as dairy farmers try to reduce the presence of these aflatoxins in our dairy products. So one way of eliminating this aflatoxin is the use of good manufacturing practices, which involves the destruction of the maize crops that are affected by these molds at the feed level and not letting them to be consumed by your cows. The use of toxin binders is another way in which farmers can help to reduce the amount of these aflatoxins in milk, especially during feed formulation. So these toxic binders helps to reduce the absorption of these aflatoxins in the gut and into the bloodstream, which helps to reduce the concentration of aflatoxins that will be present in milk. So my advice to dairy farmers is that they should be careful in the way that they handle animal feeds, and in cases where good manufacturing practices are questionable, the use of things such as toxic binders, which helps reduce the amount of aflatoxin in the final product to the recommended requirement, and this will help in ensuring food security, which is part of the Big Four agenda.
Thank you for watching today's video, and I hope you have learned more about aflatoxins and how they can affect your dairy animals as well as you as an individual. And let's meet in the next video. And if you have any topic you want us to discuss or talk about, you can drop it on the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe.